Hey everyone, Austin here with The Real Seal, back again for another FAQ video to talk to you about wall plates and wall pushback. Now first off, what is that? Wall plates are used when you have a wall that's bowing in. Imagine this wall coming in trying to flatten me only over a long period of time very slowly. Your cinder block and brick walls and even your poured concrete walls can start moving in from pressure on the outside, usually due to water buildup from improperly maintained gutters, discharge lines, or grading of the yard. When this pressure builds up and moves the wall in, we have to stop that movement. If it's over 3 inches, we need to push that wall back. Once you get past 3 inches, you're getting to about half the width of the wall, and movement makes it structurally unsound. And if you let it go for too long, all of a sudden cooking breakfast in your basement with the ingredients everywhere. It happens. We need to stop this movement to resecure that wall. For this demonstration, I'm going to be the foundation wall and Ben is going to be the dirt anchor. This plate will be placed against the face of your foundation wall. We will drill a hole through the plate and through the wall, and then this rod will go usually 14 feet into the yard, where it then connects in a trench that we dug to another plate called our anchor plate. This plate's a little higher than that plate. If I want to move back this way, that plate anchors me. So I don't move back, even if I've got this pressure. Now obviously one plate won't work. Typically the spacing is about 4 feet apart along the entire wall. And we can stop that movement of the wall from coming in any further. Now let's say that that wall is way back. We would come on the other side of this foundation wall and dig it out completely to create space for the wall to move. Then we will lift the joists off of the foundation wall with hydraulic cylinders, and then we'll simply take a torque wrench and we will start tightening, and that wall will just start to move back into place. And we can get them pretty close to plumb, but sometimes the siding or repairs that you did on the outside to hide the fact that the wall was moving prevent us from moving it back the entire way. So each project is a case-by-case basis on how much we can move the wall in order to get it back to structurally sound. Not perfectly straight, structurally sound. Your foundation wall holds up your house. That's its main point. As long as we can accomplish that, you've got to win. So now that we've seen how it's done and we know the physics behind it, a couple questions usually come up. First is, well, if the wall's moving, isn't the dirt moving? And won't that anchor move? That's why we have those rods 14 feet in length and at a downward angle. The dirt that ends up pushing against a wall isn't 8 feet deep the whole way through. It's usually a slice of dirt that is building up almost like a ramp outside of the house pushing against it. So if we go at an angle into that trench, that dirt isn't moving, and that will anchor the wall properly. How do I know that my wall is moving and that I need wall plates? You can usually tell by hanging a string with a weight on it at the top of the wall, and at the bottom, it'll be a few inches away from the wall. You can also put a level on the wall. The bubble will show you that the wall has moved inwards. On the exterior of your home, you can usually see that where the siding and the foundation wall are even at the edges, but towards the middle of the house, the siding is overlapping the foundation wall a bit. And that's usually indicative of that wall moving inwards. Now that you know you have a wall that's moving, well, you've seen our other videos. Austin, why am I not using carbon fiber on this? Carbon fiber is the way to go if you're 3 inches or less of movement on a foundation wall. If you are over 3 inches of movement, you can no longer just stop that movement. You need to push that wall back to regain that structural integrity. And that's where you know you need to do wall plates. Wall plates are how you push a wall back. Can every wall be pushed back? No. Unfortunately, not every wall can be pushed back. Let's say that the foundation wall is cracked like a spider web and it is just all over the place, chunking here, chunking here. You've got cinder blocks just popping out and missing. You may need to rebuild your wall. But most other cases, we're able to use wall plates. It's even possible to use wall plates on a brick wall if you reinforce that wall with carbon fiber first. Obviously, a brick wall, we put a plate on it and we move, it's just going to move this one area and push it in. But if we grid stitch carbon fibers through the wall, we can make that wall seemingly one piece. Typically speaking though, if you've got a brick wall that's moving, replace it. They don't use brick to build foundation walls anymore, and for very good reason. Mortar joints, they wear away. You're never going to be able to fix a brick wall completely because it's a few bricks thick, and those mortar joints wear away inside, and the bricks are going to start collapsing and deteriorating. So the best kind of walls are the CMU blocks and the poured foundation walls. And with those, we are able to push most any wall back into place. Again, it won't be perfect. You won't be able to put a straight piece of plywood lumber on it and every single surface touches it perfectly within a thousandth of an inch. No. But we will reinstate and restore that structural integrity of the wall so that your home will stand for decades more to come. All right, Austin, I understand. I need to push my wall back. I've got over 3 inches of movement. I need wall plates. I've got a poured wall. I can get it done. What about the rest of my house? Is this going to damage anything else while we move it? The unfortunate answer is yes. Like most things, it may get a little worse before it gets better. When we lift the joists off of the wall in order to move the wall, you could get drywall cracking upstairs. If there's a bathroom right above, you could get separation between the toilet and the pipes, especially if those pipes are really old and already rusting. Any small movement could cause a leak. On the outside siding, if you have brick especially, that could crack and it could even move a little bit depending on how they pinned it into the wall after the wall moved. We had one situation where a wall moved inwards and a homeowner drilled rebar into the wall and poured concrete and a concrete sidewalk above it to hide it. Well, we discovered this, had to remove the sidewalk, but they also pinned the concrete in to the brick above. So as we pushed the wall back, it was even pushing the brick out as well. So we got the wall back up to straight, but the brick was pushing out a bit. And in order to fix this, a contractor had to come out afterwards in order to repair the wall. This is something to anticipate as part of your project and to ask the consultant who's coming out. Is this work you do? If not, who do I contact and what am I going to expect when you move this wall? So you're going to expect some drywall cracking. If you have plumbing old pipes, you could possibly get a leak in the plumbing pipes and some damage to the siding as it's moved back. Just like when you break a leg, yeah, it's going to suck for a little while because you're going to be in a wheelchair on crutches, but once it's done, you're going to be able to walk like a normal human being. And just like when we move your foundation wall back, it will be able to stand there and support your home like a normal foundation. Well, you need to dig up my yard. Well, as we've said, we're going to need a trench for both next to the foundation and about 14 feet away in order for us to have movement to move the wall and for us to have an anchor point. These trenches are usually 2 feet wide, and the one next to your foundation will go down to the footer, while the one out in the yard will usually go 4 to 6 feet. The dirt from this is quite large, so you will have a couple large piles of dirt in your yard while this process is performed. Plywood should be laid down before the dirt is piled on top of it, and that will save your grass from dying. It may go yellow for a few days. That grass, after a rain or two, will restore itself back to green. If you are concerned about the grass dying, you want to make sure that you get the specialized contractor for the right job. So if you need to resod or you're planning on resodding your yard anyways, get this project done first, then bring the landscapers in once it's all done to make everything pretty. All right, so we've covered the digging, we've covered how it works, we've covered the different situations you're in. Well, now that comes down to the two last questions, permitting and warranty. You'll need a permit for a lot of this kind of work if you're pushing the wall back, depending on which township you're in. Some townships aren't even aware of this service, so they have no permit process for it. In that case, you'll need to make sure that you hire a really reputable contractor that's going to do a good job, because you may not have the village to come out and inspect that work. On top of that, the contractor should be providing you with a warranty. The typical warranty for this kind of work is 25 years. All of the steel that is buried in the ground is galvanized to help prevent rusting and degradation, and it's installed in a way with seals through the walls to help prevent water from coming into the home as well. All of that should be done at the same time so that you don't have to come back and chase these problems down. How long does a wall pushback with wall plates take? Typically speaking, about a week for a one-wall job. So if we're looking at, for example, a 40-foot wall that needs to be dug out, pushed back and anchored, sealed, and backfilled, typically talking about a week-long project. If you're looking at multiple walls, it can obviously extend beyond that as well. Check with your consultant to get specifics on your type of work, because every single project is a little different, so every solution is tailor fit to that project. And those are our most frequently asked questions when it comes to our wall pushback and wall plate projects. If you have any questions that we didn't cover in this video, leave a comment and let us know, and we'll be sure to add it to our next video so that we can get that answered for you. And we'll even respond to you right away so that you have an answer as well. Feel free to cruise our website or our YouTube. We have hundreds of videos. We're all about education and transparency so that you can arm yourself with the knowledge you need so that you can get your projects done right. Give us a call at The Real Seal, where you know not everything's better when wet.